What's going on, everybody? Russell Clay here for another episode of Clay's Corner. Today we're going to be taking a look at a 1QB startup dynasty draft. Before we do get into that, I just want to say if you like this video or anything I provide today in terms of information, please give this video a like and also subscribe to the channel. Check out our stuff over at FantasyGuru.com. If you like March Madness, we got a nice March Madness package kicking off soon. So definitely go check that out. All right, so let's dive in. So I am a part of two startup drafts right now, but this one in particular I wanted to talk about today. It's one quarterback, PPR, really basic scoring, one quarterback, two running backs, three wide receivers, one tight end starting, and then a few flexes. So, there's a lot to think about as we look into startup drafts this offseason. We're in a very strange area of startup drafts. There's a lot going on in terms of veterans sustaining production longer than we expect. And there's also... So again, I guess we can start here. I mean, 110 in a startup is a very strange spot, and I'm not normally the type of person to go win now. But I ended up picking Saquon at 110, and then Christian McCaffrey went right behind him at 111. And the last time I can remember mid-20s running backs going in the first round of startups was like the 2000s. We're talking, going back to LaDainian Tomlinson and guys like that, where Tiki Barber. I mean, even before I played Dynasty, that's what used to happen. And we've kind of been in this grace period of the last 10 to 15 years where we haven't really been put in this predicament very often. The best running backs were kind of done by their 20s for the most part, or mid-20s, I should say. You look at Todd Gurley. We knew that knee injury report came out, and it was like he dropped like a rock in his age 25 season. He was down in the fourth round of startups by the end of that offseason. Le'Veon Bell shifted away from the Steelers, went to the Jets, and held out for that year. So his dynasty ADP fell off a cliff out of nowhere. Devontae Freeman had one good year and then kind of tailed off. Jamal Charles was always hurt, so it was never really a dynasty type thing. And now we're in this position where these mid to late veteran running backs are kind of controlling fantasy football right now. You look at Austin Eckler as well, and some of these other guys. Another one is Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is going to be 34 years old next year. And I mean, look at this production. And why would it slow down with Patrick Mahomes at the helm? Maybe Travis Kelce is slowing down athletically, but with this role in this offense with Andy Reid, with Patrick Mahomes, I mean, realistically, you could get another 2 years of elite tight end production out of Kelce, and then maybe a few more years of like high end tight end one, maybe not tight end one overall. So it's like, then we're looking at 3-4 years out, and it's like, what are we doing dynasty for? We're trying to win. So if anyone's going to take Travis Kelce in a startup, I'm not going to hate on him. So, I mean, let's take a look at the rest of the running backs, because most of the best running backs are entering either middle age. Jonathan Taylor's entering year 4? He's going to be 25 at the end of next year. We do have Breece Hall, we have Travis Etienne and Kenneth Walker, but even Travis Etienne, he stayed till his senior year at Clemson. He's going to be 25 in January as well. He's the same age as Jonathan Taylor. So same thing, Najee. He was an older rookie. So he's going to be 25 in March. So even the younger quote unquote guys are not necessarily young. And then you have Nick Chubb, 27, Derrick Henry going to be 29 this offseason. Tony Pollard, again, he's going to be 26 this year. So we are dealing with a very strange range of outcomes. Then you got Dalvin, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones. Like, what the hell do you do with Aaron Jones now? He's going to be 29 next year. But, I mean, this guy's been producing for 5 years now and didn't tail off too much from a talent standpoint last year. That Packers offense was just much worse. So the running backs is very strange right now. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. We haven't seen this in a while. So I'll be very curious how long these guys sustain it, because the truth is these older running backs are the best running backs right now. And we've had some really bust-tastic classes over the last couple of years. So another interesting dynamic here is quarterbacks. We're seeing this young influx of quarterbacks that are really, really special. And we're seeing them go much earlier in startup drafts than normal. And this is even in one quarterback drafts. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks going in the top 3 rounds. We have not seen that in the last couple years. Patrick Mahomes went 103 overall, 3rd pick. Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. And I'm not going to knock anyone for doing that. That's the thing. And then we have this next tier, 6, 7, 7. And then I took Deshaun Watson at 7, 10. I think that's a great tier of young quarterbacks that are going to sustain themselves for many years. And I think we're going to see the same guys at the top of the fantasy scoring for the foreseeable future. Why would these guys drop off other than injuries? So Pat Mahomes is the new Peyton Manning. And, whether it's Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, or Justin Herbert, someone's going to be the Tom Brady, the Phillip Rivers, the Ben Roethlisberger of the next decade. So that's what we're looking at. That's what these guys are. These guys are not going away anytime soon. These guys are going to be around for a very long time. So I don't mind people drafting quarterbacks early. Again, and this is a best ball draft, so there's some positional advantage here in that, if you have one guy, putting up QB1 weeks 70% of the time, you're not going to need a lot of depth at that position to score well in the league. So that's another best ball thing. So let's look at wide receivers. So again, I have a feeling Chase and Jefferson are going to be at the top of our dynasty rankings for the next 3 to 4 years. And I also think CeeDee Lamb is as well. CeeDee Lamb put up 1,400 total yards this year. And, seems like it is age 23 season, and it seems like he's not viewed as a high-end talent or sort of that same tier as Jefferson and Chase. And while there is merit to that, I think we're entering an era where Lamb's going to be a wide receiver 1 for probably the next 5 years, barring injury. I don't see, barring injury or a catastrophic quarterback situation. Like, he did have a catastrophic quarterback situation earlier this year. And it deterred him a little bit, but not fully. So the top 3 there, and then, A.J. Brown, a little older than these fellows, but certainly a talented skill set and a great offensive system. So I'm in on that as well. And then we get into this next tier where I feel like everyone feels similar about this crew, where it's like, I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's going to be around forever. He's like juiced up Jarvis Landry here. But, 4th round pick, not really the most athletic guy. It doesn't feel, it's more like Wes Welker when he was with Brady. That's kind of what St. Brown feels like. And I'm not comparing Jared Goff to Tom Brady. I'm just saying his role, it's like, oh, if anything changes here, could this shift? So, Garrett Wilson, this guy's a massive talent. I like him a lot, but unclear quarterback situation. And then we got Jalen Waddle, who's totally exceeded fantasy expectations for just about everyone. We all kind of liked Waddle coming into the league, other than the people that thought he didn't have enough receiving yards. At Alabama with like 17 other first-round wide receivers on the team. So that's a conversation for another day. Jalen Waddle, very good. If he can stay with Mike McDaniel for a few years, then that's exciting. What the hell do we do with Tyreek Hill? I have no idea. He's 29, turning 30 in March, and the dude just put up 1,700 receiving yards. Absolutely sick. I thought it was going to be a fall off from Mahomes, and it was not. So I don't know what to do with him. I don't know what to do with Devontae Adams. He's 30, going to be 31 next year, and he's just continuing to plow. So I don't know. Those two are very confusing. I'm totally fine with people drafting them, but the thing is, like, dynasty value will continue to drop no matter what. I mean, if they didn't have the obscene seasons they did, same thing goes for Stephon Diggs here. As soon as they stop putting up totally obscene numbers, these values are going to drop like a rock. So same thing with Cooper Kupp. He fell to 311, and he was on pace for another 1,800 receiving yard season. But ultimately couldn't stay healthy. So now he dropped to the third round. So I think anything like that for Hill or Adams, then we're going to see that stock drop considerably. I picked Jerry Jeudy. I like the Sean Payton aspect. I like that he had over 1,000 yards in that offense last year, despite a terrible situation and missing a couple games. I still like the talent here. He's only 23 years old and 2 seasons over 800 receiving yards already. So I'm in. Christian Kirk could see a few less yards next year, or maybe sort of sustain the same role in this offense with Calvin Ridley joining the fold and maybe a few other guys. But ultimately, I like him being hitched to Trevor Lawrence the next couple years. So I really like that setup there. DJ Moore, not quite the young guy anymore that he was back in 2018, but putting up some nice yardage. Hopefully he can get some better quarterback play. Chris Godwin, Michael Pittman, Christian Watson, Terry McLaurin. Just a lot of interesting pieces there. So overall, this is a great year for startups. The last thing I'll say is, Bijan Robinson went 108. That's the rookie draft slot, so that's the 101. 108 here. I think it's worth it, everyone. I think Bijan's worth it. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in. As I said, I'm Russell Clay. You can follow me on Twitter at RussellJClay. If you like this video or like the content I provided tonight, please give this a like and also subscribe. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.